Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We got Luke on today. He's been a past guest of the show. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the debate last night?
Not good. I mean, not good on both camps. But
Nope.
but really, I think if you boil it all down, it was more of a win for Kamala, just simply because she exceeded her extremely low expectations going into it, and her tactic throughout the entire debate was, let's bait Trump, bait Trump, bait Trump, see if he falls into my trap and gets a hot head and starts rambling. And more often than not, he did. When if he would have just remained calm, similar to the mannerisms he had in the debate against Biden, it would have been a home run. And instead, he shot himself in the foot. She'll definitely get a bump in the polls, probably for a little bit until she starts speaking publicly again. Then she'll go down.
Yeah, I think whenever they asked him about the crowd sizes, I think that's when I knew they were against him at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, even take out the fact that it was 3-on-1. And,
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say this in my life, but CNN actually moderated a less biased debate,
Yeah. Yeah.
which to me is insane to speak those words. Um, but he didn't do himself any favors. He did a bit of good with the live fact checking of the blatant lies that she was telling, but he should have, instead of fallen into their bait and her traps, live fact check, call out the lies, and then instantly direct the questions, back to her and let her dig her own grave, because she does not have policy to stand on. So the more you let her talk, the more you let her answer for the last 3.5 years that they've been in office, the more she's going to dig her own grave, when in reality, that's sadly not what he did.
Yeah, I didn't have too much faith in ABC doing that great of a job, but it's kind of crazy to think that CNN did a better job than ABC last night. I mean, it's wild, man. It's wild.
Was Oh, it was surprising. I mean, it wasn't. Like, the amount that they were combating him live and just letting her tell some blatant lies. For example, the there were fine people on both
Oh
sides
yeah, yeah,
comment.
yeah, yeah. That
That's been
that
debunked how many times,
that still
and
pisses me off.
they let her run with that one. Um and the one that struck me as the most insane claim is when she said that it's evident that he is weak on foreign policy.
Yeah,
And in my mind, I was like,
what is she talking about?
how do you even make that claim? I mean,
Yeah,
under Trump, there were no new wars. There was peace in the Middle East. We had, he even mentioned the tariffs on China, that some of which that they still have kept
yeah.
in place.
I think that was the only thing
And
that
and
they
for her
fact
to
checked her on.
say, yeah, but for her to say it is evident that he is the weakest on foreign policy, it's like, you're just gonna let her run with that claim?
Yeah, it's wild to see. Did you see those earrings trending? Like those Nova earrings. People are talking about those where the earpiece.
I
People
have
are
seen
saying,
that.
yeah.
You
Do you
know,
think they have
to
a
me to me that even that's irrelevant. I
yeah,
mean, that's a trap I think conservatives fall into a lot,
right.
is rather than taking today to disprove some of the blatant lies that she said, we're gonna fall into the trap of, oh, she had her team was in her ear the whole time, or these seemingly conspiracy or conspiratorial things. But in all reality, I think the key moments that were lost were when Kamala mentioned the immigration bill that she claimed Trump shot down. He should have answered, first of all, I wasn't in office during the time, but The reason that that bill got shot down is because inside of it there was 20 billion going to the border but not the wall, and there was 70 billion dollars going to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now direct it back to her. But why have you allowed all these people to come into our country? What have you done as the borders are? What have you done? Boom, cut and dry. He never even mentioned that because he got tied up in defending himself. On the abortion,
Yeah.
I think he fumbled the bag. Yes, they asked him the same question 4 times, but after he said that he would not sign a national abortion ban, which he has stated multiple times his position on that, when asked, would you veto an abortion ban that came onto your desk? He should have very clearly stated, because they're going to run with that today, and said he never said he wouldn't veto it.
Yeah.
Instead, he should have said, I won't need to veto it because it's to the states and I have no inclination to change that. It should be in the states. It's at the states. It's where everybody wants it to be, and
Yeah.
called it a day.
I
And
do think
but
it was pretty
he
smart
got
on her part to say it's a Trump abortion ban, even though that's not what it
oh yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah,
But
no, and he wasn't even in office when it happened,
right. Yeah.
and he also gets tied up too much in the you know everybody wanted it. This is what we all wanted. All the 52 states, everybody wanted it. They all wanted it to the states. No, everybody didn't want it to the states, but it is now based on where you live, it is a vote of the people now. No matter what side of the issue you're on, if you're pro abortion and you live in a state that votes to outlaw it and it's that important to you, well, then maybe consider moving to a state that more closely aligns with your values,
Right.
you know? And then the other, what was the other thing that he spent too much time on? I think he spent too much time on the attacks, the quips, which to me are hilarious. The excuse me, I'm speaking. Oh, does that
Yeah.
sound like anybody? But that I just if he would have interacted with his mannerisms and comments in a similar fashion as the Biden debate, we'd be having a wildly different conversation today. All over the media, it would be a race to defend Kamala again because post Biden debate, they realized that he's not the guy. There's no way that they can even remotely get it close. So what do? They prop up Kamala, who was the one of the lowest rated vice presidents. She had a 27% approval rating as a vice president. The week that she ended up getting instilled as the presidential nominee, and the media is doing her bidding. They're propping her up, and they have enough of a buffer where there's not that much time for that many people to realize what they're doing right now. So it was a smart play, and he could have put a giant halt to all of that last night, and in reality, he didn't, and it's going to take a while. Hopefully, she makes a lot more public appearances because every time she speaks publicly, her the polls go down. She's
Yeah.
not favorable in the public eye. Nobody really enjoys hearing her speak. She's not genuine. I think people can tell. They're defending her anyway, but he did more harm than good last night, I believe, in many, many ways.
Do you think they should have another debate?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will. I think if she gets enough of a ride from this one, they won't go on
Yeah.
another debate. I would love to see another one, and I would love to see Trump's team coach him to not take the bait. And I think he could dig her grave if he just remains calm, combats everything she says with facts and numbers, and directs questions back to her. That should have been the MO last night, but it was not.
Yeah. I think if there's going to be another debate, I think it should be. I don't think Joe Rogan's ever going to do this, but I think it should be like a Joe Rogan type figure. That'd be a badass because he's kind of in the middle. He's kind of in the middle, and he can kind of fact check both people fairly when it's needed.
I would love that. Or if anything, let's hold a debate where you have like two complete opposite figures. Let's have
Yeah.
like a Tucker Carlson esque person over
Absolutely.
here and a liberal talking head over here, and then maybe a more moderate as a third. And have the
Yeah,
moderator panel be completely different, you know?
that sounds
Like,
like a great idea. Yeah,
let's see representation from all sides.
yeah. I don't think Kamala's ever going to agree to that though, because they know
Never.
that.
No, never in a million
Yeah,
years. But even,
yeah,
hey, if I was the Trump team, I would even accept another one with the same moderators on ABC, just knowing to come into it with a different game plan
right.
and be more calm and collective. And he also had ample opportunity to get some sound bites where he could have combated the moderators and said, this is the problem with the media. Boom. Hey, it's currently 3 versus 1. I'm debating 3 people right now. Boom. The media is still trying to prop up Kamala. Boom. He didn't mention that once. That's where he shined in his first round of debates, especially
Yeah,
back in 2016 against Hillary,
y-
is just claiming the media was out to get him. And then again, in 2020, those were the clips that you saw going around that helped him out. He should have commented more and more on the DOJ's blatant attack on him and how that undercover video from the Steven Crowder undercover team came out with talking about how it is a political attack and it is not justified and it's political warfare. He could have focused on many other points but just continued to fall into the traps, and I don't know if it was because he didn't prepare as much as he should because he thought he had it in the bag.
I don't think he
I'm
did.
not sure. I'm not on the Trump camp. I don't know
Right.
what the preparation looked like there, but I think conservatives everywhere are not particularly happy with the way it went. And you see the people that don't pay attention saying, "Oh, Trump won, Trump killed it, Trump." But if we're all being honest, we realize that although he may have won from a substance perspective, this was not a win for Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's not going to win over the middle of the road people who are not decided yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Kamala's performance did either,
Right.
but
Right.
I would call
Nobody's
it more
mind
of a
was changed.
wash. Yeah, I would probably call it more of a wash because she didn't perform the best either. But when you look at the sound bites that the media are going to use all day today or for the next week, it is going to favor her more heavily. I mean, I think I saw something on CNN either later last night after the debate or this morning, but they were already saying that Trump had 33 plus lies and Kamala had one misleading quote.
Of course. Of
They're
course.
going to do her
Yeah.
bidding. Although
Yeah.
I can call out at least 5 off the top of my head blatant lies that she told, but
Yeah.
they're not going to fact check her on those.
Yeah. I mean, just look at what I put on Instagram last night. The J6, the Charlottesville thing, the abortion thing, the IVF, uh, the bloodbath comment. I mean, what else?
The
Uh,
drug prices.
yeah, yeah,
Trump was actually one of the first presidents, if not, I believe, the first president to actually slash drug prices.
yeah,
And then when Biden got into office, they went away with his policy and then made their own and claimed credit for it and have been taking credit for it. They claim that they were handed the worst economy from COVID. Actually,
yeah,
CNN just fact checked this and said that the economy had rebounded by the time that they went in office, which I was surprised to see that
yeah. They're
CNN of
doing it. I mean,
everybody fact checked her on that.
they're doing a surprising job with that Scott Jennings guy. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Like he's the guy that like a GOP contributor on there. Yeah, but
Pretty sure it was it wasn't Dana Bash, but it was somebody similar to her that was the one that called the Kamala campaign out on that and said that actually, that the economy had been in a pretty good rebound by the time that they took office. But are people going to listen? We live in this crazy world right now where, and I truly do feel bad for the voters on the left because they're easily manipulated, and
yeah,
it pains me to realize that they don't know that they're being manipulated and don't think that they are. And the sad reality is if we move closer and closer towards a sort of, government state, that the first people to go are going to be the ones that parroted these issues and voted in these people because they're going to be the weakest people. And
Well, just
when
look at what happened during COVID.
yeah, it's it sucks because nobody wins in this scenario.
Yeah. What do you think about Trump's dog comment about the Ohio thing?
I think he should have gone into different points. I
Yeah.
like that he brought up the Springfield, Ohio incident because it is insane what is happening
Yeah.
there right now. You can't drop 20,000 immigrants into a town of 60,000 people and think that it's just going to be okay. Not to mention giving them all driver's licenses, not all, I don't, but a percentage of them at least driver's
Yeah.
licenses. When I had to look it up, I was curious. 3.9 per thousand people in Haiti own a vehicle. So
Wow.
you take 20,000 people. So out of those, you know, not even 100 cars between the 20,000 of them when they were living back home, and give all these people driver's licenses. I've seen video upon video of people talking about how much their car insurance
Yeah.
has gone up just from living there because the accident rate is so high. They're crashing vehicles left and right. And it's not even necessarily the fault of the immigrants. You are putting them into a first world society when all they ever know is the way they lived in Haiti, which is arguably the country where people are the worst off in the world.
Yeah.
And you put them into a first world society where, I don't necessarily blame them for walking into a park and killing a duck. That would be if they saw a duck walking around in Haiti, that hey, that's food. Like, holy shit, I can feed my family.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily even their fault. But if we for a second thought that we could integrate these people into a community at this rapid of a rate with this high percentage of them, that just is insanity. But it's purposeful. Ohio's a battleground state. They're trying to pass legislation all around the country right now where you don't even really need to prove your identification to get a mail-in ballot and vote. So obviously they're going to push these people into the states that they don't think they have a handle on, you know?
Right. Yeah. I think it's interesting they're shipping these people to Ohio and Wisconsin and all these battleground states that they're going to try to get them to vote. Uh,
Yeah, but I mean would you not? Like if
yeah.
your goal
Yeah.
if your goal was to have to never run a fair election again, the playbook is so obvious.
Yeah.
If I
It worked
sat
for them in
down
2020.
Yeah, well, if I sat down and I thought, "You know what? How would I take over a country from the inside?" Who would tee every single thing that they've done is in the playbook that I would use. Create mass panic with COVID, create division with the masks and the racial tension and the lockdowns, and make sure people are divided. Don't allow anybody to be on the same side of issues. Make all the forefront issues so polarizing: the abortion, the guns, the don't talk about the economy and immigration, which 90% of people agree with. That we are not doing well in those scenarios, but make the forefront issues so polarizing that nobody can come together. Bring in people, more and more people that need government assistance to live, that will vote for you because they're losing the black community that they've done that with for years and years and years. They're losing the Hispanic community, those communities that they almost seemingly purposefully hold down just so they need the government and therefore will vote for them. They're losing those people at an alarming rate to them. So what would they do? Well, if we can't get people that are in this country to vote for us, let's bring people in to vote for us. It's It's almost like a shitty movie.
Yeah, yeah, and they're trying to do that in Oklahoma. I mean, like it matters in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, it's always going to be red, but they're trying to give immigrants uh, driver's license, or they're proposing the idea. But
It's just insane to me.
yeah,
Like that, and yet voter ID is racist, but they
yeah,
want
I mean,
people to have the ability to vote without an ID. So,
yeah,
and they're, the whole, oh, well, black people don't know how to go get IDs. Are you kidding me?
yeah. That's the biggest form of propaganda I've seen in a long time. I think. I mean, it's not it's not racist, and like I think that it's pretty simple to go get an ID, and if you don't have $30 or whatever it is, then I think it should be free to those who need it.
Well, and I'm sure there are programs where you don't have to
Yeah,
pay for it. I don't know that
right.
off the top of my head, but that seems like something that they would have a program for that you can
Yeah,
apply for. But I mean, I've seen video upon video of people walking around in some of these lower income urban areas and asking everybody, like, "Oh, do you have an ID? Do you know anybody without an ID?" And they're all like, "Of course we all have IDs.
yeah.
Are you stupid?"
I don't know where they're getting that from.
It's
Where the
sad.
black community doesn't have IDs.
It's sad. It's so sad. And I truly empathize with the people that are so misled that they will attack anybody with different opinions. It is saddening to me. I don't hate those people. I don't wish them ill, but it is so sad to see that they are so easily manipulated and they have no idea, because a lot of the people that believe things on the far left, they truly believe it is what's best for the country. They truly believe that Donald Trump is evil, that he is the second coming of Satan, because
Yeah,
they were misled to believe that. And those people are too far gone, but I think us as conservatives do a disservice by thinking that we're the silent majority. If you're not out there talking to people about these issues, and I'm not talking about the radical left people, but the modern Democrats that just simply vote left because they probably always have, but they don't love some of the stuff on the left. We got to be having rational conversations with these folks and have dialogue instead of being afraid that we're going to get tokened as racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic just from our opinions and views. These conversations need to be had. Cancel culture is slowed down quite a bit. You're not going to lose your job because you have a factual opinion on something that you think Donald Trump is better for the economy and immigration. We need to stop being quiet as conservatives. That's where we lost years ago when we didn't set a line in the sand for moral values and we let everything keep spiraling and spiraling out of control and let cancel culture in and didn't do anything about it because we were always the silent majority. And now we're living with the repercussions of the fact that we have never been a party that is vocal.
yeah, and I think we're starting to see that with like the Amendment 4. Did you see that with Trump? They got Trump to flop on that, or I flip flop on that.
You're not. What is that?
Amendment 4 is a bill in Florida that basically is abortion up to 9 months.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he said that he's like in one interview he said something about that he wanted it, like he wanted more time for abortion. He didn't think 6 weeks was enough. And then the next day, like after all these pro life activists on Twitter was basically hammering him on social media, they got him. I think they got him to vote no on it.
Uh, Yeah,
So,
no, I didn't.
but
I didn't
it's
see that.
yeah, it's something they talked about during the debate. But I I was kind of shocked they brought it up. But yeah,
And I think, Trump's stance on abortion, if I'm being honest, I don't even think he really knows what his
yeah,
stance is because it's a tough thing to play.
yeah,
And as pro-life conservatives, believe what you want to believe. If you believe in the exceptions, great. If you don't believe in the exceptions, fine. You have your reasons. But I think just similar to the Kyle Rittenhouse situation where instantly Trump made one comment on guns and he was like, nope, we hate Trump, blah, 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 blah. A lot of the pro-life conservatives that are pro-life to a fault, no exceptions, all of that, instead of accepting that we made a stride in the right direction on that issue with putting it to the states and then focusing on lobbying in the states to get the decision to turn the way that you want it, instantly they're like, oh, Trump believes in the exceptions. No, we can't vote for him. We can't, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't share our values. And it's like, I, we're not there yet. We're not at the point where an abortion ban would even be plausible. And we probably never will be.
Yeah.
I am under the opinion that it should be a state issue. Do I agree with it religiously? Do I agree with it morally? No, but that doesn't mean I think it should be illegal necessarily. I think it should be up to the people, and in each state, it should be voted on by the people.
Right.
And
Yeah. There's
it's a
yeah. There's
tough
been a lot
issue,
of
but
pro-life people that are pissed about that.
and it's a tough issue as Trump, just
Yeah.
like for Kamala, the pro-Palestine and anti-Israel stuff is a tough issue because there are tons and tons and tons of dual Israeli and American citizens in the government. We have ties to Israel in every corner of America, and she has to be very wishy-washy on that and be pro-Israel with also kind of handling all of her base that's, free Palestine and all that.
Yeah.
It's the same issue on Trump with abortion. He can't win because he can't
Right.
come flat out say he's pro banning it because I don't
Yeah.
believe he is, but also he'd lose right away.
Yeah.
But then the
Absolutely.
pro-life community is so extreme where they're not even willing to concede that, and they're just like, "Nope, if you're not 100% for a ban, we don't want to vote for you."
Yeah. I I completely understand where they're coming from, but I think it's a dumb move to pick that as the issue. I think it's a major issue. I think it's a really important issue, but I think that you're not going to have a completely 100% pro-life president because they're not going to get very far. They're not going to
It's a
get very.
non-issue right now.
Yeah,
It's already down to the states. As far as this election is concerned, I think it's bottom tier issue. Our
yeah,
country is on the verge of being in freaking shambles. Our economy's in the toilet. Our borders are open. No country takes us seriously. We are a laughing stock of the world. Everybody else can see it except for us. And we need to be America first. We shouldn't be giving money to anybody until we look like freaking Dubai and we have solved the problems in our country. We should
100%.
not focus on, but I would say the same thing with the gun issue. I think that's a non issue right now.
Yeah,
We don't have the luxury of focusing on those issues at the current moment. It's not 10 years ago where we were a powerhouse and we were, a strong nation. We are not that anymore. We don't have the luxury of focusing on these emotional issues. We just don't.
yeah,
On both sides, the guns and the abortion. They're both, in my mind, this election, non issues because nobody's going to be able to sign a gun ban and a buyback. It's just not going to happen. We have too many people with guns. It's not going to happen. Nobody's signing an abortion ban. It's not going to happen. So why
yeah,
are we focusing on it? It is a non-issue in this election.
yeah,
Are they big issues to people? Yes. Are they important to people? Yes. But they're emotional issues and they have no basis in the decision of this election, in my opinion.
right. Well, I appreciate your time. I know you're on your lunch break. Do you have anything else you want to cover real quick, or?
I would just say, man, for anybody listening to this that has been scared to speak out and believes strongly that Trump is the only option this go round for, bringing our country back to strength and making America great again, I guess, to use his catchphrase. Don't be afraid to get out there and speak your mind. Make sure you read up on your facts. Make sure you are not just, parroting lies or using Fox News talking points. Make sure you actually understand the underlying issues but have conversations with people. Do not be afraid to go out and have that dialogue with people because that is the only way that this is going to happen. And also, don't for a second think that we have this in the bag because every single one of us need to get out and vote. I don't care if you live in a blue state, a blue city. I live in one of the most blue cities in the country here in Iowa City, Iowa, the home of the Iowa Hawkeyes. You know, my vote doesn't matter in my county, but for the overall popular vote, it will be harder and harder for them to do whatever they're planning on doing the more people that get out there and vote. So don't think it's irrelevant. Don't think it doesn't matter. Get out there, have dialogue, get everybody you can to the polls. This is arguably one of the most important elections in our nation's history.
Amen, brother. Well, do you have anything else you want to plug, like your social media or?
I mean, you guys are welcome to follow me Instagram, Luke Barta 13. Don't really post that much political content anymore. Got pretty shadow banned a lot, and now
Yeah.
I'm a DJ and a music producer, so
Heck yeah.
can't afford to get shadow banned with how I have to push my stuff. But publicly, still very vocal. So go give me a
Well,
follow, message me. Always happy to have conversations with anybody. Let's take this country back, man.
hell yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, thank you so much for your time. When I get you back to your lunch break, we should do this again sometime.
Hey,
It's been
anytime,
fun.
man. Yeah, you
Yeah.
give me a call. I'll hop on anytime.
All right. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. See you later.
See ya.